muted the daggum mic right off the bat. I was just about to say I got it right tonight. I didn't have all kinds of sounds playing on my ear, but I had the mic still muted. Hello, everyone. Dadman Walking 55 here, coming from you the great old east coast of the USA at 3 minutes after 8 p.m. Oh, boy. What a day. And, it's fall. It's getting darker earlier. And isn't that lovely? Before long, we will go to work in the dark and get home in the dark. Even better. No, that's not bad. What's freaky is whenever you go up to like the Cincinnati area in August and it's still sunlight at 10 o'clock at night. And then their news anchors act like it's a surprise to them. But still, if you're from the South, it's like, don't you turn the lights out around here so you can get some sleep? Oh, my goodness. But hello, we're going to have an impromptu, well, not really as an impromptu stream tonight, but really, excuse me, this was supposed to be a night off originally from football, but due to some extended family circumstances and stuff, we had to end up canceling the trip that we were going to go on. So we are still home now, and actually, after looking back at last week, it's better that we're not on the road. So, hey, go to figure. But hopefully y'all had a good day. Hopefully work's treated you well. Hopefully you're not getting your butt kicked by things, and and if not, just kick back, kick harder, get tough. Oh man, oh my gosh, why does people hate candy corn? I'm gonna have to talk about that. We probably will try another late night with Dadman with friends later tonight. Just working some things out, experiment with some new shows for the channel, and stay around to the end. We're going to talk about something new coming up next week, and there might be something really new coming up beyond that. But hey, anyway, we might have to do a candy stream though before the end of the before Halloween. I mean, that's nothing says October like Halloween. The early daylight or the early sunset and everything like that. But hey, oh man, the bus runneth over, according to the gospel, according to Castle. Wow. Is that one of those that has like 66 verses in it or like 95 verses in it? Not the 3-verse one where it's the same thing again and again and again. Well, friend, you come to the right place. Let's kick back, sit back, relax tonight, and we're going to take a look at the week that was, and we will take a look at the week that will be coming up. This time with this show, it's a little different. It's just going to be me tonight, kind of like when I go live on Saturday mornings or even Sunday morning, just or Sunday afternoon, recapping the games and the action at that point by myself. So, just try to give a few more minutes to. Oh man, jeez. That bad? Oh, that bad. Well, Castle, good to see you, and great to see you misses out here. Hey, all right. Thank y'all for being here tonight. And, I guess sometimes when stuff gets rough, at least maybe some point it can't get worse, but it always is crazier when stuff does get worse, It's insane. And why is it always work that gets us, Oh, hello, Killer Rabbit. Good to see you, Killer Rabbit from space. Good to see you tonight. Hey, good to see you. You've been here quite a bit and appreciate the support. So what we do here with this is we just talk football, specifically the Southeastern Conference and college football. If you got questions, feel free to ask your questions about the game or teams or rules or anything football related, and I'll do my best to try to answer them and address them and have some fun with it along the way. Be prepared for Dadman boomerang moments all the time, and you never know. So we shall see what shall happen, my friends. All right. Let's see, monitoring several different things here with Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. But hey, folks, let me see. Well, we like I said, we will have some new events coming up. Some things that I want to say about right now is a week from Saturday on the 21st, I will be playing Axis and Allies with a great Rambling Canuck over on his channel. We'll put more out about that. I've got actually more scheduled appointments and appearances next week that we'll put out on the Twitter and or X or whatever. But it is, remember, Dadman Walking 55, as you see it on the label here. The only place to go for the real Dadman Walking 55. Anything else is a fake, ripoff, and definitely ain't me. So, all right. Well, let us go ahead. We were going to take a look. It's about 8 minutes after. We're going to give it 2 more minutes and just look, and then we're going to jump into the action. If you have favorite teams, please feel free to indicate your favorite team from college or even the pros. We'll talk anything that we can do. Football's football. We love to have questions. We love to teach the game, and we love to help people understand if they're confused about things. So, hey. Hold on some. Okay, let's get going, and we see our good friend O.C. Dobbins. Hold on. You know, the dangerous thing with Twitter is that sometimes you can nearly nuke and destroy something by hitting the wrong button by accident. But hey, O.C. Dobbins, hell to you, sir. Good to see you tonight. Gonna talk a lot about your game there, and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Woohoo! Oh man, I think Rambling Canuck might have he's a big Calgary Stampeder guy. Oh, great. This is my antivirus keeps popping up all the time. Like it does this automatic check. Give me a second, folks. Let me let this screen load up so I can close it so that I can really start to look at things. Hey, if it's not me, Boomerang, it's the technology. I'm telling you. All right. But hey, Winnipeg, I actually like that Canadian Football League. Canuck and I've talked about that a few times because I love the longer field. I love the wider field. I love the fact that you can give up a point, by kicking in the end zone. I like that they kind of force you to return balls instead of the NFL or college is getting with just fair catch. So because part of the beauty of the game is the speed, the collisions, and just the chaos of a kick return. Yes, it is the most dangerous play that is out there. But we will see. I will say the Winnipeg I'm sorry if I have gotten in a habit calling it Winnipeg sometimes just because of a friend of mine. But hey, Winnipeg, an awesome time with the Canadian Football League. But like I said, Canuck takes his Canadian football very serious with his Calgary team. Anyway, all right. Well, let us get going. We will get there. Always, Dadman cannot type and talk. Also, one thing Dadman says too every time when we do these streams is that we are not here. We are not a gambling site. We're not here for gambling. We're just here having some football, some fun to talk about football. Normally I have a guest with me, but tonight, because like I said, how this week was supposed to be an off week, it got changed. And then after our little kind of bumps, the vacation got canceled and then a few bumps last week. It's still, did we do it? And so, yeah, I call this week 0 by myself. It's a bye week. We're a little sit back, chill out a little bit, and have some fun with this. So, all right. Well, on that note, we shall get started with this thing, friends. And like I said, if you see anything, feel free to jump in, have a comment, feel free to opine, and take your shoes off, relax, and we will get going with the first game of the week, which was near and dear to my heart. But yeah, still very aggravated. I had to watch some of this crap. But the Gators outlasted the Vanderbilt Commodores 38-14. the game really was pretty well one-sided, but it was 7-7 at the beginning because of a breakdown on the Gators defense. The corner got beat and played with his helmet trying to run the guy down, but Vanderbilt tied it up on a long touchdown pass early in the game. But then after that, Florida pulls away. Florida out first down Vanderbilt 25-13. Statistically, Vanderbilt did pretty well with throwing for almost 300 yards, but the Gators amassed almost 500 yards in total offense, 280 through the air, 215 on the ground, and time of possession dominated by Florida, 36-23 minutes, almost 14-minute differential. Turnovers evened at 1. Graham Mertz for the Gators was 30 of 36. Again, very efficient, but not really a lot of long vertical passing game with this team. 30 completions, only 254 yards, which was a little bit over 8 yards per catch. But he did throw for 3 touchdowns. More importantly, he did not throw a pick. Montreal Johnson for the Gators carried the ball 18 times for 135 yards, and including a touchdown on the ground. And tight end Arliss Boardingham, one of the more unique names that you can see anywhere, named after a old TV show, and also you could say a boarding game or an ironing board. Pick one that you want to say. Had 7 catches for 99 yards and 2 touchdowns on the day. In the losing effort, Ken Sills for Vanderbilt was 19 of 34, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns. Again, no turnovers for him. However, the Gators limited Vanderbilt to 14 points, unlike last year, and pretty well sealed the deal in the win early. Ken Sills has replaced A.J. Swan at quarterback for Vanderbilt, but they are still losing. Vanderbilt came in with a chance to maybe threaten for a bowl game after this productive season last year, but has rapidly gone downhill, losing 4 or 5 games in a row at this point, including several games where they needed to win I think it's 4 games in a row, but losses against Wake Forest and against UNLV. Pretty much about to set Vanderbilt's sail straight to the bottom of the SEC standards and another miserable year and a miss of a bowl game. And howdy, sort of poopus, Q-Burr, hello, humans and other critters. Good to see you tonight. Good to see you tonight, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Hope all you guys down that way that had some rough weather last night are drying out now, because if you look in Florida, there's some areas that have had some tornado damage and some very bad storm damage after some storms that blew in off the Gulf tonight, last night, and into today. So, all right. Well, this game, I watched bits of it. This game did not look as good as a 38-14 win would look. It was a very methodical, plodding away. Take a nap in the first quarter, wake up in the fourth quarter, you didn't miss much. So, and to me personally, for a conference game like this is one of those that needs to be over really early or you're not happy. So this game, I don't know. It's a solid win, 24 points. But I don't know. It's still Vanderbilt. Would you feel for the school like that? It's a perennial doormat in the SEC. And you hope that one day that they could actually do something and get, So one of those windbags got about 5 miles from the bear lair. No issues there, though. Oh, cool. Awesome. That is awesome to hear, especially staying safe. So that's the first game we're going to look at, Vanderbilt, Florida. Now it comes to the anticlimactic game of the week, I will say. Yeah, we got rabbits and we got bears. We got the bear and we got the rabbit. Oh, this is awesome. We're going to be a nature preserve before you know it. But hey, speaking of wildlife, we've got the Kentucky Wildcats went into Athens to play the number 1 ranked Georgia Bulldogs. And folks, I call this anticlimactic, unsurprising, because after the week of just running roughshod all over, around, and through the Gator defense, Kentucky undefeated, goes into Georgia and just falls flat. Georgia comes out, dominates this game from beginning to end, amassing over 600 yards of total offense, almost 3 times the number of first downs, 33-12. Held Kentucky to 55 yards rushing, a team that Ray Davis himself ran for almost 300 yards against Florida last week, but as a team only ran for 55 yards tonight. So dominant was the Georgia performance that UK could only muster the 13 points behind Devin Leary's 10 of 26 passing for 128 yards, 2 touchdowns, and as I mentioned, Ray Davis, who ran for about 280 yards against the Gators last week, 15 carries, 59 yards. Yep, they did get spanked. And again, look at Georgia's domination of time of possession by 15 minutes, folks. That is just that's a total domination. Carson Beck for the Dogs was 28-35 for 389 yards, 4 touchdowns and a pick. Brock Bowers for the Dogs was 7 catches, 132 yards, and a touchdown. This is how bad it was because I had to get to a kicker to get a good stat line on this. Peyton Woodring for Georgia was 6 of 6 on extra points, 3 of 3 for field goals with the longest of 42 yards. So, folks, a lot of people this was an interesting game from 2 perspectives. First, you have number 1 Georgia struggling all season, slow out of the gate against some very bad teams, very bad competition. Look, people were starting to chirp that maybe Georgia's vulnerable. Last week, they lost some first place votes in the polls. So, started people questioning Georgia. Kentucky comes in off of its video game ridiculous crap of whatever that was against the Gators. Thank you, Billy Napier. Coming in riding high. They thought they were going to win. And listening to the people in Knoxville, it sounded like a lot like when they went into Knoxville last year, talking a lot of noise, feeling good. But then for the first time all year, Georgia plays a complete game from beginning to end. And this has happened so many times. This is how I really expected this game. Kentucky had it too easy, was going too well, come off the big giant win against Florida, which you wonder how good of a win that is. And Georgia, a team that struggled on the road to beat Auburn, had slow starts at home against some very minor competition. So, but hey, you got Georgia, Kentucky with that. And we got another good game this week was the Arkansas, the Pigs, Arkansas at the Ole Miss Rebels. Ole Miss comes out, follows up their upset of LSU with a win over Arkansas. Again, Arkansas is losing all these games to teams in the middle of the league where if they're going to ever move up in the standings. Instead, if you don't beat the Ole Misses and Mississippi State, you're going to be condemned to the bottom. But Ole Miss comes out almost 400 yards of offense, almost 200 yards on the ground. Jackson Dart for Ole Miss was 16 of 25, throwing the ball for 153 yards. He was with a touchdown. He had 12 carries for 33 yards. Ulysses Bentley, the fourth for Ole Miss, had 13 carries, 94 yards, and a touchdown. KJ Jefferson in the losing effort for the Pigs, 25 of 39, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, but also 2 interceptions. Yeah. So Ty Washington for Arkansas had 7 catches for 90 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah. So, this really is this is a team. Arkansas is a team that has disappointed me for a few years now. With Sam Pittman in his first year, did a good job turning Arkansas around. You got KJ Jefferson, a senior quarterback now. It's so disappointing with this team because he had high hopes. It's really hard to explain how Arkansas did. I think one of the sports heads that I heard talking about it, he said basically the whole thing to sum up Arkansas is with their wide receivers who scares you? And they really don't have a good core of receivers to really scare a defense. Ole Miss, amazing they stuck at 27 points and didn't score more, but it's a balanced effort. Again, another week with more rushing than passing for Ole Miss, but it seems like when they're really on fire, they're not having to throw the ball as much these days. So, but yeah, this game, I think it's really the biggest takeaway I got with this is that I just don't think there's hope for Arkansas this year, which then starts to call into question how long they're going to give Sam Pittman to stay around. You have a year one great surprise. Then last year they slipped back a little bit, and then now, they're losing again. So hey, we'll look at the standings overall in just a minute too. So, all right, well we're going to take a look now at the low team in the West. Mississippi State did beat Western Michigan, but by only 13 points, 41-28. First downs were fairly even. 440 yards total from Mississippi State. 246 passing, 194 on the ground. So they're actually looking more like an air raid type of offense. Both teams turned the ball over once. Not much to say in this game. This is a game that, as an SEC team, it should have been a lot more of a bloodbath, but it wasn't, which I think indicates the problem with Mississippi State right now, that they could not coast to a very easy win by a better margin than that. Will Rogers for Mississippi State was 16-22 for 189 yards, 3 touchdowns though. But Hayden Wolf for Western Michigan was 27-35, 262 yards and 3 touchdowns and a pick. So the Broncos go down into Starkville, cannot upset the Cowbells. So I do think that they need to change Mississippi State's name from Bulldogs to Cowbells or something. Or call them the Cows like South Park, since they love their cowbells. In a game that was an early 12 o'clock start, you had to be up and ready for this one. But, folks, this was a heck of a game. Missouri jumped out to a 22-7 lead early. LSU fights its way back to make it close at halftime, and then they end up in a shootout. It was where LSU wins 49-39. Missouri had the ball sort of towards midfield with about 2 minutes left and only down a field goal, 42-39. And their quarterback, Brady Cook, was getting pressure and was about to go down being sacked, and he flung the ball backwards. He fumbled it backwards 20 yards downfield that actually put them in a 4th and 32, a ridiculous situation to try to convert. So overall, before that, it was a well-played game, pretty cool. Even on the first downs, roughly in total yards, both teams are even. But look, LSU with a balanced attack, passing and running. Oh, and Missouri, that was heavily passing, 411 yards to 116 yards on the ground. About 5 minutes different time of possession. Jaden Daniels for LSU was 15-21 for 259 yards, 3 touchdowns. He also had 15 carries for 130 yards and a touchdown. Logan Diggs for the LSU was 24 carries for the 134 yards and a touchdown. And Malik Neighbors, a wide receiver, had 6 catches for 146 yards with a touchdown. So ended up putting them on the same line, rushing and receiving, only because this game had so many stats to it that it was hard to fit it all in. So Brady Cook for Missouri on the day was 30-47 passing for 411 yards. He's really developing as a thrower in this league. 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Cody Schrader and Luther Burden III from Missouri. Cody Schrader ran the ball 13 times for 114 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Luther Burden had 11 catches for 149 yards. So this was a shootout fest game. It had swings back, forth. You thought Missouri was going to put LSU away. I know I did. The next thing, a turnover led to an LSU score, which changed the game. Which, this game had two key turnovers that allowed LSU to get back into the game or take the lead. One tragically down at the end of the game, though. All right, so we're going to look at now Alabama, Texas A&M. This game of the week, folks. Alabama goes on the road and survives and beats Texas A&M. Got to credit the coaching job here. Nick Saban had his team prepared. Texas A&M was the team that was jumping off sides, false starts on offense the whole game, and they were the home team. So, woo, yeah, there's O.C. Dobbins cheering out there. Yoo-hoo, yes, exactly. Howdy, Stunning. Good to see you. Oi, oi. So, Stunning, do you have a favorite Canadian Football League team? Because we already had Killer Rabbit talk about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So, this game, I will tell you what. Looking at neither team really ran the ball much. I tell you what, though, Jalen Milroe is actually developing to be a better quarterback. And I'm not saying just because of the play calling and stuff, but some of his throws the other day were good, solid throws. And Focky, I forgot. Yeah, let's talk Focky. Yes, I remember that. And I of course, O.C. Dobbins, feel free to opine, give your thoughts or observations out in the chat if you want to, since Alabama is your team. This game was just very methodical, workloaded, but Alabama didn't lose its composure. It stayed there. It's fought through. And I tell you, Milroe looks like he's becoming a better passer. His throws look like they have zip. It looks like the ball doesn't float. Like, he's more accurate than he was last year. It's really, really interesting to see the change from last year to this, which then bodes well for Alabama. If this is your quarterback, you don't have to replace him. So, Jermaine Burton, though, for Alabama, had 9 catches for almost 200 yards, 197 yards. That is 20 over 20 yards per completion. And he got, as I said, he's got 2 touchdowns. And yeah, O.C. Dobbins, you're right. See, he's developing, and that's where sometimes you do have to give your quarterbacks a little bit more patience, especially at big schools when they want to win. Now is the mentality. Sometimes you do have to let them play out on the field. Somebody may be a great practice quarterback, but stink when it gets on the field in game times. They may be, like a lot of people said, like with Tebow, was not a great practice player, but when it game time, he was on fire. So, and then Max Johnson, the old LSU transfer, son of Brad Johnson, was 14 of 25, 239 yards with a touchdown and a pick. So that's what we have for this week, for the week that was in action. If there's anything you want to say about any of the games, please feel free to say it. And that will move on. But still, some of these stat lines look, it's almost hard to believe some of them, but it's all good. We still have football. We're gonna, oh boy, we're gonna have fun these next few weeks, folks. But I tell you what, I don't think people having fun are in College Station with Texas A&M. I don't see how you can keep losing to Alabama and other teams and still have a team, unless they're just, especially for a school, Texas A&M should not be a problem to be able to bring in a big name coach, unlike some of the other smaller schools like Missouri and maybe Vanderbilt and stuff like that. So, so that's what we got here with it. Like I said, Max Johnson, the LSU transfer. It's kind of good to see him do a little bit of something, as long as he doesn't beat my team, and we're good with that if that happens. So, all right, well, and folks, we arrived to the point with the overall conference standings. Sorry, needed a drink. It's a lot different doing solo versus duos and stuff. As it stands now in the East, Georgia's still on top with a lead. I probably commanding, because Kentucky, they beat Kentucky already. Florida, as much as I would have loved Florida to win this game, it's going to be a very tough job for them to do, like it would be for Missouri to beating Georgia. Tennessee gets the dogs at home coming up a bit. That could be a dogfight, though, I would say. And, of course, then the bottom follows with South Carolina and Vanderbilt. So, anyway, not much luck for these teams, I will say. In the West, we got Bama. Everybody's ready to write Alabama off. And look at that. Look who's top of the standings right now. There's no guarantee any of these teams will win every game necessarily. LSU has shown weaknesses this year. So, but then again, look at the top four in the West. It's what you would expect: Alabama, LSU, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, with the others looking in. So, all right. This week's AP poll: Georgia still is well up on top in the number one spot, followed by Michigan, who got 11 first place votes. Ohio State and Florida State round up the top four. Oklahoma is in the top five now, moving up 7 spots. So, meteorite rocket. See, Oregon, Texas, USC close out the top 10. Alabama, Ole Miss are 11 and 13. Beavers are still kind of neutral though. They're like stuck in one place. Yeah, 5-1. Might have to go get that old Beaver some Buckies in a little bit, or if not tomorrow. But Washington State got upset. They dropped 6 places and tied with Tennessee in that 19th position. You see, Notre Dame lost last week. It fell 11 spots. Jeez, that's hard. And LSU moved up a spot to 22. Kentucky dropped 4 spots to number 24. All right, the AFCA coaches poll. What do we have here? We got Georgia again, number 1 overall. Michigan, number 2. Ohio State, 3. But, and then Florida State on down. It's the same cast of characters pretty much. I think at this point, you got Alabama and Georgia would be a good natural rivalry, too, if you could swing it in. Tennessee, the Vols. Will they beat who they've got to beat, and then will they pick off a Georgia or an Alabama or somebody, a big name along the way? All right, and then LSU, Kentucky, Missouri end up the top 25 representing the University of Florida in men's college football. So, clear as mud? Yes, exactly. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and get through these things. We're going to talk about this week's SEC matchups. Normally, if Whoopa Troopa, hey Whoopa, love you some Beaver. I do too. Go Beavers. Yeah, Kentucky's only dropping 4 after getting spanked by Georgia. I agree. That was surprising because they did not look good either. We'll go ahead and share this back again. Whoopa saying Kentucky there falls 4 spots. Stays in the top 25 barely. Look, Miami lost and they dropped 8 spots. So, but yeah, Kentucky. Just when you thought they got good, and then they got bad. They expired. All right. So where we go with this? All right. So we looked at the top 25. We looked at the coaches poll. So I'm going to pull this down a second, just take a look at things. So everybody, make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure you share it out with people. Subscribe it if you can. It would be much appreciated. So now we go to next. Oh my God. That killer rabbit space from I love killer cows from outer space. So so this week coming up, we got some conference matchups, and some teams, sometimes when they go, these games here this week are kind of interesting to me, and where you want to go with them. I don't think these games on a whole are as good as they were last week. They still not bad matchups, but probably the only game out of the bunch that I really see that could be of interest is definitely that 3:30 game, Texas A&M visiting Rocky Top, Tennessee. Um, that's probably going to be the best game of the six in the conference. Uh, Missouri and Kentucky may be evenly matched, but it could also be an ugly game. Auburn and LSU probably will be a very ugly game that they have there. Arkansas and Alabama could be a little interesting if the Pigs show up at the beginning to play and don't try to fight from behind. I think one of the things playing against Alabama is you want to get ahead of them. You want to get on top of them. Hopefully not settling for field goals, but hey, Mr. Angel, thank you for lurking. Good to see you. Hey, you're number 10 by the solar eclipse. Yeah, that's right. That is this Saturday. See, this was the annual one, so I don't think we'll have to look that up. I'll have to look that up and see, because now next year in April there's the one that's a complete lunar eclipse. Basically, it does go dark completely. We actually had T-shirts made. We blacked out at Musgrove Mill State Park. It was really, really cool thing that we did with that. So, but I don't know. We'll have to look and see. So, let me take another. Hey, Admiral Teague. Good to see you tonight, friend. How are you? And folks, the great Admiral Teague, stay with us. We'll look. You'll see it on the calendar near the end. He's graciously agreed to come in and fill somebody's spot on my show in 2 weeks, because next week we'll have JT Kirk. Then I'll get you on the T. Don't. It may not be 2 weeks. It may. That's what I get for. No, it will be. It will be in November. It will be in November. I'll get with you on the specifics. So, but hey, thank you for being willing to step in. Admiral Teague's a great guy. Appreciate your support, man. Georgia at Vanderbilt. Hey, folks, this is like everybody's. Like how the Bills dominated the crowd over in London with the Jaguars Sunday, and this is just basically this stuff. I mean, this Vanderbilt can't even protect its own house from the fans. Every home game for Vanderbilt's like a road game. They just change colors, jerseys. Oh, and you look forward to, absolutely. I'm so happy. Hey, all right, research away, dude. Makes my heart happy. Teague's an NFL guy, but he's going to come and talk some college football with me a little bit. Again, this is a game with Ken Seals is emerging as a starter for Vanderbilt. They have a decent run game, but nothing overly dramatic. Not like when they had Ray Davis. Georgia comes in off the heels of the thorough humiliation and domination of Kentucky. So this is one of those games you look for Georgia to possibly have a letdown. But I don't know, barring things unforeseen like repeated turnovers or pick sixes, interceptions run for touchdowns, except for weird stuff like that happens, this is probably end up definitely before halftime. So then we have the next game is Arkansas plays at number 11 Alabama. But this is a game that at one point, probably a couple years ago, I'd have put more stock into Arkansas. But now I feel for him. They had a great year. Sam Pittman got a lot of respect in his first year. That was 3 years ago, and then it seems like it all turned south. And they play at Alabama, who seems to be gelling at just the right time. They're working in towards the college playoff run, in spite of in spite of having a loss. At least I say though Alabama, is very a likely target with everybody. Any perception of vulnerability, but I don't know. This is a good team, and like OC Dobbin said, that they're exploring. they're letting the quarterback learn. Basically, they're developing, on the job training for Jalen Milroe. So, and he last week he passed. He did it with flying colors. Mr. Angel's back in saying hello with sushi. All right, okay. We had something different tonight, but Texas Roadhouse, that was different than what we've had in a long time. The game that I'm going to watch, the game that really think bears a lot of attention, is that 3:30 game on CBS, Texas A&M at number 19 Tennessee, because when we look at the standings again, we can see that Tennessee can't afford another loss if it wants to make the bowl playoff series. So you got that. Actually, let me see. I'm not going to take the screen down. I'm going to. So 0-3 for Arkansas, 2-4. Wow. That's worse than I thought when you look at a graphical representation. So, and feel free, folks, if you want to talk about any of these games, if you see your team, if you want to input, let me know. Throw it out in the chat, and I'll stop. So we'll try to address it. Texas A&M visits Rocky Top. Oh, what is it? Top. Sweet. No, that's the Sweet Home Alabama song. Good old Rocky Top. Woo! Rocky Top, Tennessee. There you go for you Tennessee people. This is a game that's got a lot of intrigue to it. From an unsuspected reason. Everybody knows that there's trash talk in sports and stuff like that. Personally, I don't like sports. I don't like trash talking. I think it takes away from the game and stuff, but it happens. I'm researching something about a good old friend, Gary Danielson, the CBS announcer. So I'm trying to get the article, see where it is. Has apparently done something to, yeah. Okay, here's the headline. Let me make sure it's muted so I don't hear that. Okay, yeah. CBS, stop that. I hate when things do that. CBS analyst Gary Danielson says Neyland Stadium is, quote, just about the same as other SEC venues. All right, so right there, he's already picked off the Tennessee people. So basically, it's your football field, and yeah, it looks like some of the excuses are because that's what it is. That's what they go with. But I thought this was an interesting football related one. So, it's not good. But what's not in this article is something really interesting. I think that the Tennessee fan base has actually gotten fired up over this comment. Oh shoot! You know what? God dang it! There you go. I've been meaning to show this. It's an off night. It's an off night, folks. That's why we called it a bye week. Hopefully, hopefully y'all saw the polls. But yeah, it's you're getting started for the layout for your Teen Titans Christmas pizza. Oh, that's awesome. So, Killer Rabbit, thank you for coming by. You had to hop away, and we'll have a good night and pleasant tomorrow. You do the same. Thank you for coming by and staying with us so long. Sorry, I just saw that. Actually, I had the screen covered with the news story I was looking at because, like I said, did the news story go away? Dadgummit. Basically, Gary Danielson, the color commentator for the broadcast Saturday, said Neyland Stadium was essentially like it's every other stadium. There's, not saying that it was asked about crowd noises. That's about the same with everybody. So now apparently people in Tennessee have taken it as a personal affront, and they're out for blood. And what was already a high stakes game right here has become even more important, more under the microscope. So, and that's one of those, you hope as a coach, you guys don't get caught and end up getting punished for the next week. The next game is Florida. The Gators go on the road to play in Columbia, South Carolina. Again, another series with two teams that are like very Jekyll and Hyde. And hell to you, JT Kirk. Good to see you. Yeah, exactly. And because Florida is just, they come out. They should have gotten blessed by Utah worse than they did, but they held their own. Then they beat Tennessee at home. Then they don't even show up for Kentucky. No tackling, nothing. That's how bad it is. But apparently they've won a few more games. Then we got South Carolina, who's lost key games on neutral site on the road early on, putting them behind the hole for trying to stay competitive nationally, but at least the losses are in the conference. So the Gators in the South Carolina matchup really is a battle of two. It depends what you get. You can get a poop sandwich or you can get something good with this game. I'll talk more about what I'm thinking with this game in just a minute. And Kirk's coming through greeting everybody. Thank you. And then the missus comes in. So, hey. All right. But thank y'all. We'll keep going after that. But honestly, Florida's always struggled at South Carolina. In this game, it's going to be a dogfight. Will Billy Napier change his offense for more flashy plays, or was he going to stay just run it some more? So, then we had the Auburn Tigers. They go on the road to play at the LSU Tigers, a battle of kittens in this one. So, pick your kitty. Either you take the one that's orange and blue, or you take the one that's got green and purple and gold in their colors. So, let's see. This is a heated rivalry for two schools. Let me see. I'm going to look at this one too. Let me see with this one. With this matchup, this is one of the historic classic matchups that's out there that does not always get the attention it deserves. And let's see. This series is just an old-timey one. I'm trying to figure out how to search this thing. Because what I want to do is I want to show you how long this series went or has gone. So it's going to be Auburn at LSU. So we got the Auburn Tigers, Plainsmen, War Eagles, whatever. And we got South Carolina with this one. And we'll see where we go with this. Get the other team. I'm going to a site called Winspedia.com. It's like the Wikipedia for sports. This is only a 10-3 series with one tie. Auburn having the series advantage. Carolina has won 2 in a row. Largest margin of victory for Auburn is 48-7. Longest win streaks 8 games. Largest margin of victory for Carolina was 30-22, and he also threw for 2 touchdown passes. So it's interesting, and you can look at a lot of these things, the prices and stuff. So, or not prices. What am I thinking of? I'm sitting here thinking food again. Dang it! All right, but here, this is some of the stats that I like with this website that shows you this. Then they will tell you all from history for them. Starting from the matchup in 1930 and all the way to 2021. They did not play last year. These are rotational. Remember, you have the East teams, you have the West teams for this year. This is an East versus West matchup. So, the one you don't see often, but who'll come out? We'll have to see what happens with this game. Could be fun though. It could be fun. So we'll see what they bring to the table. And then finally, Missouri at Kentucky. Missouri's trying to avenge the heartbreaking loss to LSU at home last week, while the Wildcats are trying to rebound from a very humiliating loss. So it's a battle of 2 very frustrated teams. Just imagine like 2 frustrated teenage boys hanging out trying to chaperone them somewhere. So, in terms of them trying to date the prom queens and stuff like that. Oh my goodness. But hey, all right. Let's go, Vandy. All right. There you go. There we got Vandy out there. So yeah. So hey. All right. So we got Teague's here. Let me see this. Let me see. I'm going to multitask for something a second. I need to pull this down just a hair, and I want to see about inviting somebody on for a moment. It's got some availability, so it does help. I tell you what, I like streaming solo, but I tell you what, it's always good to have other people. You guys in the chat rock, because I tell you what, you guys help drive the show between topics, humor, comedy, and stuff. Y'all are always a blast, and it's really definitely helps having you guys here. All right, so that's there. All righty. All right, and let me bring this back up. So we go there. All right, so we got back here. So I'm yeah. Oh man, yeah. Would be disappointed this Saturday. Hey, JT. Hey, welcome in. How are you?
Hey, great. How are you this evening?
Doing good. Well, tonight's a complete audible situation. This was, like I was telling people earlier, this is the week that we were supposed to be out of town, and we were going to do a stream this week. So it kind of became, do we did? And so then it became, well, you know what? Yeah, need to do a little bit of a stream tonight and go ahead and keep things margin. Just we're not going to do the guest picks and stuff like that, and just kind of
sure.
So we're all can talk any football you want to. How we come on. By the way, JT will be the guest next Thursday night, folks.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm excited for it. So could be some good talking about next week's games.
Exactly.
Although this weekend has some good ones too. So just have to let you know real quick, my emergency phone may go off. I'm on call, but that's a very low percentage. But I will let you know, and then I'll have a few minutes before I have to get back to them. But like I said,
that's fine. I think we're in the back half, so we're going to take a look at this week's games and talk about some things. And so we probably will not be going, but maybe another 20, 25, 30 minutes anyway. So
right on.
Sounds
right
good.
On.
And we're planning on having another late night with Dadman and friends tonight. So
okay.
I'm experimenting with a lot of nights and stuff. So in time. So, but I'll tell everybody a little bit more about that, and plus our little stream Tuesday night. So. Oh yeah. So what's Whoopa saying to you that a man can dream? Yeah. Hey.
Yeah,
Vandy?
I was trying to let Whoopa down gently about that Vandy Georgia game.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, Misery almost got him last year, but yeah, it's got Vanderbilt might as well sell all the tickets to the dog fans, because Vanderbilt's one of those small private schools, but the road team always out attends them.
Yep, and they're in Metro Nashville, if I remember right.
Yep, they are in the Metro Nashville area.
They could definitely find some easy money selling those tickets. Not that I suggest that any home crowd does that, but
no.
Sometimes one game can make your whole season ticket price.
I don't know. Well, Admiral T could say that because of one game today, 4 plays for his Jets this year.
Oh, geez, yeah.
I love it. And Teague's actually coming on in a few weeks to talk some college football. I'm proud of him. I'm looking forward to it. So, and we'll talk more about your stuff next week, because because I know the Lions are doing good and stuff like that. But we'll save that for next week when we plan for that. But the last game was really Missouri at Kentucky. Watching both teams come off some very bad disappointments with this one. Missouri was well ahead of LSU, gave the lead back, made some mistakes, turnovers. Then they had a chance to gave up a really quick LSU touchdown drive to go down 42-39. And then really all they needed was to get the ball back, drive downfield. But they had a second, third. It was a third and probably 12 already. Mm-hmm. Well, Brady the quarterback for Missouri just was getting pressured, and when he got sacked, he ended up flinging the ball 20 yards back downfield. So they did recover it, but it was like a 4th and 40 almost.
Right.
It's like
that. Well, and those are so statistically long shot plays. You don't expect them, so it's cool when you see them. But
he just made them their 3rd and long, 4th and really long. So it was crazy. And they also had another turnover that was badly timed in the game that led to LSU points. And they're playing at Kentucky, who went on the road last week thinking they were going to be hot and all this other stuff, but they didn't. They laid a big egg at Georgia, and now they're hosting the game this week. And this is one of who wins. Does the home field advantage mean much? Personally, I don't think it does in Kentucky, because when Florida went up there, it was not the crowd that got them. It was not the crowd that got them. It was just going out and not being able to execute, not tackling. So this could be a fun game of the week. These two here, but
Saturday, I think the weather looks pretty decent in Kentucky. Mid-60s, no rain.
Yeah, should be good for holding the football.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Teague says that Zach Wilson 3-peat Super Bowl run is underway. He barred heavily to bet on it. oh, that's too funny.
The last laugh's going to be on us when he's a billionaire.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I cheer for my friends to get it, to take advantage, to have good fortune and succeed. But yeah, did any of these games jump out at you?
Could you pop up the list again? There were a couple.
Oh shoot, that's right. Got it. I keep doing that today. I am definitely off tonight. I'm sorry about that. It's like,
no problem.
But thanks.
The Auburn at LSU one is definitely one that I think could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
If I look at the standings here and I look at where Auburn is going to LSU, LSU has 2 losses this year, but somehow they're ranked
because they lost to a top 5 FSU, and they also lost. They did lose to a ranked Mississippi team, so
yeah,
it's not like they had losses to unranked teams. So, and one of them was a top 10 team.
This isn't a long travel to get to that game, so I think you're going to see a good Auburn presence. This smells like something Brian Kelly should have no business losing, and he will. I call that an upset. I may be totally crazy, but looking at that one, I think Auburn's going to show up because they need a win, right? If they drop to 0-3, and one of these Mississippi States or Arkansas has a win, they're all of a sudden at the bottom of the conference for being in the middle of the pack. Yep. So I think this is the make or break game for their season, and they do show up. Now, LSU playing for something a little more, right? They still have a chance if they can overtake Alabama in the conference. They're all of a sudden number 1. That means Alabama has to lose, of course, in a game somewhere. But, I definitely think there's motivation for them. But being a 22, it's weird with college football. I think anything under 15 and below, you're really susceptible to getting beat by an unranked team.
And the thing is, this is a rivalry game. I'm not as positive as you are, though, for Auburn's chances because of how bad their offense has been. But then again, this is a rivalry game, and dumb things have happened in rivalry games. The unexpected has happened in rivalry games. And just because Auburn goes on the road, it's like, there's no guarantee that Auburn will lay an egg necessarily. Because a few weeks ago, Arkansas played at LSU and only lost by a field goal.
Right.
So you never know. It's useless.
Yeah. Out of all these games that I don't get because
good night, Mr. Angel. Good night.
Take care, Mr. Angel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't get any of these games really unless there's a random one that plays on broadcast over the air television.
You probably will get the Tennessee Texas A&M 3:30 game because that's
I
CBS.
believe so. It's been so strange this year, Dadman. Normally, Michigan and Michigan State would always battle for ABC/ESPN, and then
Yeah.
you'd get kicked over to the Big Ten network. But
Right.
now you've got games on Fox, you've got games on CBS, and almost nothing on ABC. NBC, of course, is playing golf or horseshoes or tiddlywinks.
Yeah, because
or,
NBC the only team NBC shows is Notre Dame home games.
And I'm not watching that. So
no, I know. So I don't. I mean, I don't understand about the ABC because usually the ABC is a Big 12 or a Big 10 or a ACC game down.
Well, they're a Disney property, and I don't want to go on a whole tangent on that. Lord knows we could, but I think they really got beat out by the contract because I have no proof of this, but my pure napkin math speculation would say they thought they could probably get away with keeping the rates the same, and other people were able to peel away at that. Might not have been able to get exclusive rights for a team for the whole season, but individual weeks, that's all you need. And then all of a sudden ABC is not where you're going for football anymore. So
that's because it's weird because I know that they're showing games on ABC down here, so I don't know why that's a difference. I mean, I know sometimes things vary region to region, but that's just interesting.
We're getting like Big East games and like things that I'm like, I'm sorry, folks, I don't want to watch. But
no, I understand you with that.
So if I had to say this is the one that I want to watch on TV from out of my conference region, it would be Auburn at LSU. It just would. The Georgia at Vandy game, sorry, Whoop, I don't think that's going to be competitive at all unless Georgia sits most of their starters. I mean, just as an insurance policy, right? Yeah. You don't want to be hurting people playing a game you're going to win.
Speaking of stuff like that, did you hear what happened last week in the Georgia Tech Miami game?
I did not. It was my birthday last Saturday, so I had family over and I was busy with other than college football.
To not show the video clips because of all the other spies and stuff. Miami was driving the ball with under a minute left, and they were really at a point with Georgia Tech with no timeouts and stuff. They were about the 30-yard line or so, 35-yard line of Georgia Tech, and it could have taken 2 knees and ended the game. They ran a play, and the running back fumbled. Georgia Tech got the ball, drove it down, won with the clock expiring, touchdown.
How do you call that? I mean, how many?
Look, I know it's a low risk that somebody will fumble, but it can happen more. All they had to do was take 2 knees. 2 knees, they were done, but they didn't. So.
Oh
my gosh, Admiral Teague, he loves his Jets, or he hates the Dolphins. After the Jets smoked the Eagles, the insufferable 1970 Miami Dolphins will drink their damn champagne. Ha! He doesn't like it. He doesn't like the Eagles, Jets, or God, that's too funny.
And that's a game where Philly's notorious for having rough fan bases.
Oh yeah,
and the Jets are close by. There might be some mostly peaceful interaction going on there.
If I ever go to a game, I go neutral. I went when I went to down to Miami to watch the Hurricanes play the Gators years ago with a friend. I didn't wear anything Florida. He wore his Miami stuff. I'm like, I'm just here. I'm neutral. I'm not taking a side.
Yeah, I was able to bum somebody's student ID at a Michigan game back when I was a student at Michigan State, and I definitely wore a brown hoodie to that game just to be neutral enough to not
exactly.
get razzed at,
Well, I will suggest to you, since you don't have ESPN and the others, if you do have time, watch that Texas A&M Tennessee game.
Okay.
That will be of interest. It should be good. Jumbo Fisher's come off. They got an offensive coordinator, Bobby Petrino, who's back in the conference, and they're actually producing some points, but the defense is not there for Arkansas. So now they traveled to Tuscaloosa. Jalen Milroe has really impressed me this year. His throws and stuff. At first I didn't think he could do it, or that they'd have to change what they do a lot more to fit more running. But he's actually making some nice throws, and that's what you need from your quarterback. So
see, and by this point in the season, I'm kind of a strength of schedule kind. Well, not really. I don't want to get to say strength of schedule. I'm more of a record in looking
mhm.
at stats and things like that. When I start looking at these teams and kind of feeling them
Yeah,
out, for me, Arkansas being 0-3 in the conference just does not bode well for Alabama. You know,
yeah.
I know Alabama's quote unquote only 11th, which is probably where they
The
should have
the
been a
big
lot of years in the
the
past.
biggest
But
problem I have with any chance of Arkansas is one that they burned me too much the last 2 years, and two that they're on the road. If they were at home, maybe, but we'll see
who's
what
the
the pick.
coach over there
Which
these
from
days?
which team? Which one?
Arkansas.
It's Sam Pittman.
Okay. See, I'm still sore about John L. Smith. So
Oh yeah,
when he did a good job losing to everybody with good
yeah.
recruiting teams at Michigan State. So um, he
Oh
went to
yeah.
Arkansas after that.
I
So
remember
uh,
that.
I'm not a gigantic Arkansas fan there.
I got you. I
Um,
got you. I don't
Now,
blame
did
you
you already
either.
talk Florida, South Carolina?
Um, yeah, but it's really hard to say much about this game because I tell you, it's a battle of you don't know what the hell you're going to get. Two teams that are just so they can either be really good and efficient, or they could just be so bad, or they could just be blah. And it's hard for me to say much with this game. The Gators have gotten some groove on the offense, and I think they're going to have to throw the ball more than they run. Use the pass to set up the run, regardless if they want to or not. And South Carolina just depends on Spencer Rattler. If he can get going and have a big night, it's just the big of the what ifs. I hate saying it like that, but
Well,
it
in
depends on
South
what team shows
Carolina,
up.
looking at how they played against Georgia, it was they held Georgia to 24 to a 10-point victory. So
Yeah,
being an unranked team against the number one, I mean that's a thing in its
they were
own.
down, and they were down 14-3 at halftime. I mean, they were up 14-3 at halftime.
Right, right. So I mean, you see some life in that. Even sometimes when you get a loss, when it's against a
Mhm.
team like that, it says you didn't give up.
Yeah.
And if you're playing at home, I mean, I remembering going to that school and watching. I haven't been to a game in the stadium, but I don't think the 11th man is a huge or 12th man is a huge thing. But they didn't do well with Mississippi State at home, and they didn't do well against Tennessee. So
Mhm.
their last two games, they have not shown they can come back from the problems that they had with Georgia.
Yeah, but
So
I tell you, my problem is, we'll see. Joseph Dredd says, and hello, Joseph Dredd. Good to see you tonight. South Carolina is the most schizo team in the SEC. I see. I can buy that. He hope the love of
yeah, I
Mandy out
miss
there.
thanks, Whoopa.
Yeah, but I tell you, what's so frustrating with Florida is they're not that bad if they could be coached right, or if they don't make some of the stupid mistakes that they've been making, resulting in penalties and false starts. So
Yeah,
South Carolina, though, but Florida's been kind of like a meh team, but they've been consistently meh, not really high or low, um,
well, and they
but
haven't
South
won on the
Carolina, though,
road this year.
well,
That's
yeah,
that's what really
exactly,
worries me is they
exactly. But
won
then
on a
in
road.
South Carolina, though, I mean, the whole Rattler, it's he can throw for a lot of yards and still not get much. I
Hmm.
mean, I've seen that before. You get all kind of notice. You just I don't know. Just I do agree with that. That's one schizo team, because it's like South Carolina. The minute you think they're good, they take off. That's how I feel about Arkansas, though. But Arkansas, I don't
Yeah,
think has the talent South Carolina does, because you have all this hope, good coach, all this stuff, and then lay an egg.
yeah.
So
Now, if I had one team, I had one game I had to flush and say, well, maybe you don't televise it or put it on ESPN 8 the Ocho.
right.
I would put that as Missouri versus Kentucky because uh, I don't I don't have any faith in Kentucky doing anything over Georgia. They're not getting out of the SEC East. At best, they'll beat up on these other teams.
Mm-hmm.
Missouri,
because that's the way they've always been. Yeah.
Yeah, in Missouri, I have no expectation. Yeah, they're 5-1 overall, but
Yeah.
I got to see who else they've played. I haven't kept up
But I
with
will
who
say
they've
this:
already played.
we'll tell you this Missouri team could be decent. I mean, legitimately
Mhm.
decent. Whoopa, I know Whoopa's out there in the chat. If you can talk about this, because we've always figured it was a joke and that they were not, but they put up some good numbers against some good teams. So the problem they have on this one is they're on the road, and
Yeah,
that does say something in the SEC for having to go on the road. Kentucky is still ranked. Just I don't know. This could be a fun game to watch, though. That's the thing is you don't know what you get, but you got to start to watch it early.
perhaps.
Yeah,
Perhaps. I'm just not
this
invested in either one
well,
of these teams at
well,
all. And
Missouri was fun to watch last week against LSU. That was a good game up and down the court,
mhm.
that field. There have been many times I did not ever want to watch Missouri, even when they played Florida, because it was just ugly football. But so.
Right.
But then
Right.
again, with Devin Leary for Kentucky struggling to get 50% of his passes, this game may become kind of an ugly game pretty early. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
So we'll see.
yeah. And see, and let's see. Yeah, Auburn played Georgia tough before the Kentucky game. Absolutely. That Auburn pushed Georgia quite a bit. They only lost by 7. So, all right, well, we'll go ahead and start to wrap up, and we're going to go ahead with the picks for this week, which are basically me. Feel free to jump in with who you think.
Okay.
Uh,
Sure.
so yeah, and Joseph Dredd, yeah, they sure did play tough. All right, so remember, this is not for gambling. We're just here having some fun talking about football. With that, we're going to hear this week's picks: Georgia at Vanderbilt. I'm going to take Georgia, of course. Boring, there's no
Mhm.
reason not to. Alabama over Arkansas, I take. Um, we
Yep.
talked
I'm
about that
with you
game.
there. I think I'm with you on both of these so far.
Mm-hmm. Then Tennessee over Texas A&M is who I'm going to take. Then we got I'm taking the Gamecocks at home. I just can't homer this one enough. I know they beat Tennessee at home, but going on the road anywhere is tough in the conference. So not a. I'm not buying South Carolina this. Oh, Florida. I'm not
I
buying them this week. I'm not buying Florida this week because they every time I try to get hopeful for Florida, they burn me bad. So hey,
I'm with you. I'm with you. And so far, 100%. And we did not talk about any of these picks before I got
no, we
on.
didn't.
So,
No, we
yeah.
didn't. I'm hitting
Yeah.
you cold blind with it, but yeah, I just you talk about the freaky nature of some of the teams. That's what I see with Florida. I think Florida is one of those that are just off the charts, so unpredictable. It's hard to watch it as a fan because you don't know what team's going to show up,
Hmm. Right.
and that's the hard part. Auburn at LSU. I'm going to take LSU in a runaway. I don't think Auburn's quite there yet. Defense may keep them in for a bit, and they're playing at Death Valley, so that's the big kicker to me.
I'm going Auburn. I'm
Okay,
going Auburn. So I know you don't have an icon for me.
it's
That was
okay.
last
We'll
minute.
stick it there.
But
Yeah, and I'm going to take Kentucky on this one. Actually, I think Ray Davis will get his yards running, and they'll have a better week throwing the ball, being at home. But all I can see, the calendar flying by, and this game, if it was another month or two, would be really frigid.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
I agree with you there on Kentucky taking it as well. So that we only disagree on one game this
hey,
week. And past weeks it's been 50-50. So
hey, there you go. Great minds think alike. So,
exactly.
exactly. Yep, exactly. So,
Now, if you're looking for games up north this weekend, real
mm-hmm,
quick, the
yeah.
only one that I would say you should watch is Iowa, Wisconsin. Now, neither team is ranked,
Oh,
but they're in the Big Ten West,
oh,
and those teams
oh,
play some smash mouth football. It's real
oh,
physical,
yeah, but
beat them up.
oh,
Yeah,
oh.
it'll be 14-10.
I mean,
That'll be the final score.
I always give them sayings you don't want a Wisconsin quarterback, because they can't throw the ball and stuff. And then what happens? Florida gets Graham Mertz, who was at Wisconsin. Oh yeah, but exactly. Tell someone to watch Iowa. That's borderline abuse.
Well, I'm saying if you're going to watch a Big Ten game, because Michigan's playing Indiana unranked, Ohio State's playing Purdue unranked, Penn State's playing UMass unranked, Illinois and Maryland no, Michigan State and Rutgers no. I mean, this is not a big weekend, so if you had to pick one in the Big Ten, Iowa and Wisconsin is the one to do. But do you have any other ones out of conference you think you might enjoy this weekend?
I love that with Whoopa Troopa there. Give me a second. I'll pull up and look real quick. Joseph Dredd though.
Now top 25 for me, if I'm watching out of these two conferences, I would say the one that I would really want to see is, where'd it go? Oregon at Washington, 8 versus 7. That one, they'll both be Big Ten schools next year. That one
both be Big Ten. I don't know. My StreamYard is doing weird things right now. So, okay, finally, all right, finally got it back. But yeah, I'm going to look at the ESPN thing real quick and just see, because it's I don't think even the games.
That link
I've seen this week really are not as good as they were last week. Last week had some really good games up and down the conference. So, yeah, UTEP beat Florida International last night. Woohoo! I'm just even the top 25 games are like blah.
Yep. Like UCLA, Oregon State. I'm sorry, not excited.
Oregon at Washington, like you said, that's a good matchup.
They're both 5-0.
Yeah, Texas A&M, Tennessee. See, Kansas, Oklahoma State could be good, but that's mostly because Kansas. Kansas can be kind of boring, but
Okie State can be a real slippery team. They can be. So
I'm just amazed that they've fallen off as much as they have. They used to always be in the top 10. Looking down through the schedules, it's a weak, it's a relatively weak season, I think. Hey, USC Notre Dame.
Well, I wasn't going to bring that up.
Well, that's a late game at 7:30. Well, I tell you what, though, it's like what. Notre Dame. This game used to be like end of the season, but they've destroyed the tradition and timing of a lot of these matchups and stuff when they do exist. That's the thing. That's crazy. Miami, the Hurricanes go on the road to play in Chapel Hill for North Carolina in that game, and then UCLA visits Corvallis to play against the Ducks. So, not really anything I really want to spend a lot of time on tonight. So
right. Well, I'll just say this real briefly. The Hepburns, if they're around, are not going to appreciate this, but I think USC is going to advance to 7-0, and Notre Dame will drop 5-3.
I'm sure
Trojans
they will
pick up a road win.
I think that could be a big win for USC. They were pushed by Arizona last week, and I'm sure they're upset with that. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. JT, thank you again for coming on tonight.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. I always love talking college football. So
exactly. Fun. And we'll do more. You'll be back on next week, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to, you're in here. So remind you, Sunday night, I plan on trying to have, I didn't this last week because things got busy and tired. Sports Weekly, where we're basically, it's football pretty much. We're going to talk, unless something breaks in some weird sport where there's something significant, we're going to talk about the Saturday's SEC football results and results from around the country. Look at the new updated poll rankings. So George, join us for that on Sunday night. Becoming a little kind of a fun thing to do, and having a good little crowd coming up. So, big. All teams are Big Ten East.
It's true.
Yeah. So we got next Thursday, the great JT Kirk will be with me. It's Mr. Sparty coming up with that. Make sure you do it. Follow it, get us there. These are the schedule. We're over halfway. We'll be over halfway next week. JT Kirk, Marty will see FK Admiral Teague on the 9th, followed by Whoopa and Lorena Creole. So we've got a great lineup coming up for y'all. Here's the sign for the Battlestar Galactica on the 17th, this Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Lisa from YouTube, JT Kirk, and Hungry Boy are going to be here for this one.
I'm ready? Really excited for it. Oh yeah, I've been. I'm halfway through rewatching the season already. I just the more and more I watch that, the more and more I end up liking it. I think there are some great stories in those episodes. Kind of reminds me of Star Trek in a way.
There are things in this thing that make me think Star Wars could be episodic, but you need to do it right. Because there was something specific I want to talk about that I happened to see, and the Ice Planet gun one.
The two-parter. Yeah.
But we can hold that for Tuesday night. Everybody come, bring your friends, neighbors. Folks, hit that subscribe button if you haven't. Bring new people so we can get to 500. Forget, we're almost out of the 400s now. We got a little ways to go to get to 500, and we can do this, folks. We can do this together, my friends. So
yeah, I'm excited for this one. I already want to start talking about it.
I know. It's hard to hold back, isn't it?
And Lisa's going to be there. I really want to see what she has to say. So
yeah, and of course, Hungry, who's never short of words.
Yes.
Make sure y'all are there for this. Yep. So, all right. Well, let me go ahead with this. And then the next night on Wednesday, it's Ang and me, Walking and Rambling, another edition at 8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to come together, and we're just going to talk about, I don't know, whatever comes up. You never know. We even got into some weird NFT stuff at one point, but hey, that's how that goes. Let's see. I have different other appearances on other channels next week, so just watch Twitter for that. Also, periodically, we have a late night with Dadman and friends, and we've been running this out a lot of nights just to see how it would go, working with different times and streams. And we're planning on one tonight at 11:30 p.m. Eastern. Hope you can make it. We're just going to chill out, relax, probably do some more memes and maybe some weird news around the country or world, who knows what. But we're going to have some fun with that tonight. And hopefully y'all can join us trying to, work on some things with that and format and stuff. So, and then, of course, Fortnite, whenever we do it, remember, they can be impromptu. So the thing is you got the impromptu chill chats or something, which can happen. Also, YouTube and Twitch. So look for the links. Here you go. Live streams and videos on demand, youtube.com and twitch.tv at Dadman Walking 55. Dadman Walking, WALKING 55. Do not go to any other Dadman Walking, whatever, that has this avatar looking either. It's got to be at Dadman Walking 55 very specifically. And follow me on Twitter to see what the latest is and, maybe get some stream ideas or who knows what we do. But at least then you'll go live. Make sure you smash the notifications both on the YouTube and Twitch. And,
you also play Fortnite Fridays and sometimes on Sundays with the missus. And, playing that as husband and wife can be kind of fun just to watch because you're playing duos on that. Well, and that's some of the hijinks you get into are pretty funny, but it can be more relaxing or also more entertaining to watch two people play than four sometimes, right?
I agree. And it's easier to stream it too from my standpoint. But the thing is, we actually had a streamer he's not streaming anymore, but he came through. That's where we met Pa Kors and B from O from.
Oh, okay.
I'd met them over on this channel because what had happened is the streamer came through one night and said it, and he said who he was. And I'm like, oh, cool. And things, I don't know how he found us by blind luck or whatever, but I had been in his chat before. And so then I went the next day. I was so excited. Yeah. Cause he called us out and all that. And because I recognized his name, and I told the missus, well, the next day I was listening when he went live, and I just turned in just after they had said something about us. I'm like, what? And then I said hi, and he's like, we were just talking about you. Were your ears burning? And what it was kind of like was like, it was the missus and I just goofing around and all there. And she's like, we got to go to circle. And I was like, let's push. They're up there. Let's get them. And he's like talking about, he wants to push. She wants to run the circle. And then she doesn't know where he is. Where are you? I'm above you. And I was on a rock right above her. It was kind of like me. It sounded like me trying to find somebody, but it was funny. And he said, oh, they were so cute AF. So, and that's, but you're right. Yeah, it does something. And we do that. Those are nice streams, the two of us to do. So join us for that, for our chaos parties with all the people too. So, hey,
and the funny thing about that is sometimes one or the other of you or both of you are bumbling around just trying to orient yourself, finding where you are. In the meantime, you're like getting in like closer and closer and closer to the final round. And I've seen you win before and you're like, what the heck is going on? And then the victory pops up, right? So it could just be hilarious sometimes to see. But and the missus is no slouch in that game. I've played with her and I played with both of you, and it's some good fun. So
she's dang good, that's for sure. So, well, folks, join me in about 2 hours. I'm going to go live at 11. Well, see you next Thursday with JT Kirk for football. In about 2 hours, I plan to try to go live for another late night stream. Chase some cats. We'll see how long we go, see how it goes, and just like I said, experiment. But come hang out if you're still up, have some fun, and bring your neighbors, dogs, cats, drunks, pets, anybody you can do. We're 21 away from actually hitting the mark of 500, which I can't believe, but it's all it's all due to you, great people. That's what counts. Is you guys coming, supporting, chatting with me, talking, and it's all encouragement. So, and hopefully we can make you laugh and have a good day yourselves. Well, JT Kirk, thank you again. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it. And
you're welcome, sir. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, y'all have a good night, and we'll catch you next time. Bye, all.
Bye-bye.